On the edge of Taipei's pedestrian shopping and restaurant district of Ximending is a sculpture commemorating the official foundation of the city in 1884. Its first governor, Lu Ming, can be identified by his hairstyle, the distinctive long braid which the Manchurian Qing authorities of the time required Han Chinese men to wear. Chinese migrants from Fujian province had been arriving in northern Taiwan since the early 18th century. Lungshan Temple, founded in 1738, was built by these settlers. I visited one morning during the twice-daily chanting of Buddhist scriptures. Dedicated to the worship of the Bodhisattva Guanyin, aka Goddess of Mercy, the temple today claims to be the spiritual and religious centre of the nation, no less. A place of worship and study, the Lungshan community also carries out charity work, encourages vegetarianism, and raises environmental awareness. No incense is burned here. Lungshan was declared a National Historic Monument in 2018. Another site dedicated to the goddess is Guanyin Mountain at Tamsui, a charming historical district with a village by the sea atmosphere. The mountain is said to resemble a reclining Guanyin. I struggled to identify her, but then I can't make out star constellations either. Perhaps you can see her. I have it on good authority that Tamsui makes a perfect day trip from the city by bicycle, but I took the MRT. Upon arrival, I headed off on foot in the direction of Fort San Domingo, Google Maps leading the way. Originally a Spanish fort, it was rebuilt by the Dutch East India Company, which expelled the Spanish from the area in 1642. The fort has sheltered 9 different regimes, according to the chart displayed in the recently restored building. The recent restoration work turned the clock back to the time when the fort was leased by the UK and remodelled as a consulate. You can see where the gun turrets were closed off. Next to the fort is the restored residence of the British consul. Before leaving, I sought an audience with Anthony van Diemen, the Governor-General of the Dutch East Indies, whose name was given to the Australian island of Tasmania for part of its colonial history. On the way back to the MRT station, I spotted shops selling castella cakes, a type of sponge cake which originated in Portugal and was introduced to Taiwan via Japan. The lighter, fluffier Taiwanese version is associated particularly with Tamsui. China ceded control of Taiwan to Japan at the end of the First Sino-Japanese War in 1895, and the island remained under Japanese rule until the end of the Second World War. Although Taiwanese people celebrated their liberation in 1945, the resumption of mainland Chinese rule was marked by a violent conflict that was hushed up for decades. 228 Peace Park commemorates the 228 incident of February 28, 1947. It is a lovely place to escape the bustle of the city and chill. Taipei's oldest park, it dates from the time of the Qing dynasty. At the centre of the park, there is a memorial. On the 28th of February 1947, people gathered here to protest against the events of the previous day, when a woman selling contraband cigarettes was assaulted by agents of the State Monopoly Bureau, and a bystander was killed. The radio station located at one corner of the park reported events as they unfolded, helping to incite an island-wide uprising against the corrupt carpetbag administration. The old Taiwan Broadcasting Bureau building, built by the Japanese in the early 1930s, is now the 228 Museum. The wall panels contain a lot of rather dense text, but there are also photographs and media that allow the viewer to appreciate the human impact of what turned out to be decades of brutal repression, now known as the White Terror. At the end of my visit to Taipei, I returned to Ximending, to the iconic Red House. Built in 1908 by the Japanese administration, it was first a public market and later remodelled as a theatre. In the early 21st century, it was renovated again. There are craft shops, a tea house, and special exhibitions that reflect the values of the liberal democratic society that is contemporary Taiwan. Near the Red House is the Rainbow Crossing, a favourite place for visitors to take photographs.